Well, good morning. Welcome to You and Astrology, our 21st episode. And my guest today is Natalia Falcoa, and I'll let her pronounce it just once.
Falcão.
Okay, and right now you're in Spain.
Yeah,
Right now you're in Spain, but you're leaving in a few weeks to Brazil.
exactly. I'm in Barcelona, but going to Brazil in the beginning of November.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right. Well, first I want to talk about how have you seen your astrology?
Yeah, for sure. My birth chart, do you mean, right?
Yes, your birth chart. Yes. Well, then you know a little bit about it, but I'll tell you what I see in it. Okay. So you have a lot of Scorpio.
Yeah.
So for being a Libra, you're very Scorpio as well because you have three planets in Scorpio, including Mercury, Mars, and Pluto, which is ruled by Scorpio. So, or it rules Scorpio. So it is a very strong emphasis of both Scorpio and Libra, and being a Libra. So our rising sign is how people see us when they first meet us, right? So you may appear to be very quiet and very intriguing to others, and you keep things close. You're very self-contained, so you're somewhat secretive and not willing to openly share about what you're feeling, but what you're thinking is not a problem. It's what you're feeling. And so you can have a lot of emotional depth inside of you and feel very passionate and intense. For a Libra, Libras are more airheads, but with a lot of Scorpio, you have a lot of emotion in there that is underneath the surface and very complex. So you have a very strong complexity and a self-determination. Very, very intuitive about what other people are like, and you have gut reactions, positive and negative. So you can trust your gut pretty much because you're often correct about what you're feeling, and you can sense unspoken feelings and motives of others because you have a lot of psychic ability. I mean, that's a lot of water in the water houses. And so, you don't take anything, to me, you don't take anything at face value. You're always digging below the surface. What does it mean? Why did they say that? What is their motive? And being somewhat cautious and suspicious of people until you trust them. And trusting is not easy. So you take your time about trusting people. And that's fine because that's how you are and that's what you came here to be. But you are very committed emotionally when you commit to someone. You can be very committed and very loyal. Whether it's a friend or a lover, you are very intensely involved with whoever you are involved with. It's all or nothing.
Yeah, this is true. Definitely true.
And you expect that in return. You expect that from the other person in return. So if you're ever betrayed, you can hate them as much as you love them because the emotions are so intense. And because you're so reserved and quiet on your exterior, you're an intrigue and you're attractive to the opposite sex because they can't figure you out.
Interesting.
So it makes you magnetic. It makes you magnetic to where things come to you. And it makes you very strong in your mind and you're very willful. When you want something, you go at it with a fierce determination, but in a very quiet, secretive, manipulative way.
This is true.
So even though you're so intense, there's this very intense person, you're very interested in people. And that's the Libra part. Libra is a very social person, very interested in all kinds of people. And you instinctively understand that you have to accommodate people. You are willing to meet people halfway. And that's the Libra part. You have very high ideals about love and a sense of being fair to the other person. You want to be fair to them. You want them to be fair to you. And because your Venus, the planet Venus, is how we attach ourselves to people. And it's what we love and what we're attracted to and what we value. So you value being of service to people. You want to help and fix and take care of things for others. And you're more likely to do things for them, like bring them a cup of tea or give them a back rub, or, can I rub your shoulders, more than being very expressive about love in a dramatic way. But you're attracted, you're sensitive and compassionate to people, and you can tend to be the giver in relationships and be more of the giver than the opposite, and be very helpful, wanting to be very helpful to the other person. So you're very detail oriented and very careful about what you do in your work. Tell people what you do and how I met you.
Okay. Oh my gosh, so many information, and I relate so much. But yeah, so I met Rebecca through one of my clients. So you were talking about like the characteristics you see in my chart, and it's somehow relates a lot with what I do, because since I moved from Brazil and now I'm living here in Spain, I started my online business, my own business, and which I support and I help other business, online mainly business, to manage, to create content, to create strategies, to manage their teams. And I do all things behind the scenes to other business to help they keep going, to help them they grow. Yeah. So it's very connected to everything you say. So my business is called Planet V, because I decided to start something exactly because I wanted to help other people that had similar values or ideas that I value and that I think it's important to our society or our planet and so on. So yeah, so I do this. I support other people doing their own, putting their vision and their heart into the projects they believe and what they want to do. So yeah, I don't know, pretty much
that is so in line with your astrology, because Natalia's sun sign is in the 11th house, and the 11th house is groups and associations of progressive ideals and wanting to help humanity, and coming together with other people to make it more for everyone. And so that is very strong in your chart, and that's where your sun sign is, right? So that is perfect for what you're doing. And then 3 planets in the 12th house means you like to be behind the scenes. You want to be behind the scenes. That's very Virgo as well, wanting to be the organizer and the person who takes care of all of the details of an organization. And you're very, very excellent at it. And so I want you to send me your information for your company that I will put in the YouTube right after we hang up.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
You're also attracted to people with, mystical inclinations and spiritual inclinations, and even musicians and artists. Very drawn to people who are that, creative people. And your strengths are you're very diplomatic, and you know how to be social, be with other people in a light, a fun way without getting too deep unless you're very intensely involved. So you express a spirit of cooperation and collaboration, and you want, to help others, but you may sometimes be too dependent on other people's approval and seek other people out for their feedback, or what do they think about this or that. So making decisions is very difficult sometimes for a Libra.
Yeah.
But when you make your mind up, nobody's going to change it. So you have a very strong will.
Yeah, for sure.
And you prefer sharing with people. You prefer sharing with others in an equal way as a partner. You feel strange without a partner. So you partner yourself with a lot of people.
Yeah.
You become their partner, in what you're doing. You avoid confrontation if at all possible. But if you get into a philosophical debate, you can express yourself quite clearly and sometimes forcefully. So you have a strong need for beautiful environment. You need everything to be aesthetically pleasing. Otherwise, you feel very, odd in a place, not, gorgeous or graceful. Personally, I'm a Libra. I can't walk into a place that is very dingy and dirty and no, I can't be there.
Oh yeah, this is true.
It
so true.
Is a strong sense of aesthetics. So it's a noticing all these things very easily, like something's crooked or, we can see those things. Other people don't even notice.
Or don't care, right? So yeah.
Don't care.
Yeah.
But you work very well with other people, and you can even be a counselor, advisor, a consultant, or a negotiator between people who are fighting. So you have a good sense of fairness and listening to both sides. Of course, Libras are all strong in design, photography, art, beauty, anything that's creative. The interesting thing about your 11th house sun is how you're so aware of the social impact for everyone that you crave that. You crave being with others of like mind, and you need freedom and adventure and other ideas. And you don't like to be stuck in a box.
Oh my God, yeah.
There's a huge part of you that needs her freedom. And,
for sure.
And is not knowing what you're going to feel from one day to the next. So you can be unpredictable at times with some people, but you have extremely good mental concentration. And that's Mercury is conjunct Saturn. So or it's trining Saturn. So it is a very detailed, very strongly, complicated things. You can learn them like this because you're so intense and focused when you're learning. So you have a very sharp mind. And as I said a little bit earlier, a sharp tongue as well sometimes.
Yeah.
And enjoy a vigorous debate. You enjoy it. It's a debate. It's not a fight. It's not an argument. It's a debate, about different ideas. And you enjoy philosophical stuff like that. So,
sure.
And you can be a very effective spokesperson when you believe in something. So your broad universal principles come into that too. And you see the relationships of patterns and people and how things are happening. You see the big picture that other people may not. And so you help explain that this is where it's going. What is the meaning of this? You're very into understanding the philosophy of things. And so your quest for life's understanding is ongoing and forever. You will always be a student and you will always be a teacher. You will be both, because whatever you learn, you have to talk about.
Oh, yeah, that is true.
And okay, so let's talk about your Aries moon. So you have an Aries moon. Well, Aries is completely different from Libra. Libra wants us to all be together, right? Libra wants to do things and share things. And Aries says, no, it's my way or the highway, and I'm out of here, I'm busy. So you can be very independent and impatient. If people don't get things fast enough, it's a part of you that can get impatient and impulsive. And that's your moon. That's your emotional side. And that's not all of you. But, what I love about astrology is that we have all these different flavors. We have, here's your moon is in Aries, which is exactly opposite sun in Libra. Your moon is in the Leo house. The Leo house is about creativity. There it is again. Creativity, self-expression, having fun, being a fun person. Overextending is your Jupiter. You can take it to the limit. You can be an excessive, generous person, generous to a fault at times, but everything returns. What goes around comes around. So you have a very philosophical view of, it happened for a reason, and I just give of myself, it'll come back from somewhere else. So you have that very strong.
This is true. So true. Oh my God.
So the part of you that seeks relationships requires depth and honesty. And I'm going to show you your chart real quick, because this is something that's probably, very important. And I want to show how complex astrology is. This is the 12th house right here, where my arrow is. See it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Mercury, how we think and how we communicate, and Mars are conjunct by 2 degrees in the 12th house in Scorpio. And then Pluto is right here on the ascendant, right on the rising sign in Scorpio as well. So these 3 planets, the 12th house is about energies that go inward. They go inward before they go out. So there is a very strong need for going inside yourself. And it's a time to be alone with all these energies. And you may have, as a child, been squashed from expressing these. And I'll speak about them one at a time. So Mercury is how we communicate, how we think, how we express ourselves. And so you may have been told you were not smart enough, or you have been made to feel somehow mentally inferior, or not, where they were just so busy they didn't have time to listen or something. So Mercury can go inside before it comes outside. And this is about when you're young. Mars is conjunct that. So anger was not allowed. Anger might have been suppressed from a very early age. Like, being angry in this family is not done, and only we get angry. You don't get angry. And so your anger had to be stuffed a lot. Did you experience that?
Yeah, I mean, it's very correlated with what I remember. Talking about first about the communication part. I remember, as you mentioned before as well, as being a Libra, I always, when I was a child, I had like a very low voice, and like I always was a little bit shy to express or to talk. And I remember some like uncles, like jokes and stuff like this, like always making jokes about like how I express, and because of this, I somehow always like was even more shy, or even like shy about being myself, like, because that was the way I know, or the way I express. But there was always like a joke about this. And then when you speak about like anger and stuff, it's not like that we were allowed to express anger or anything like this in my like family. But my parents always like taught us to look for the good side of things, how we should like take all the like bad or difficult situations in like a learning process, and so on. So like for me, it was always like this until I get like until like I leave my comfort zone, let's say like this, and start dealing like by myself with different situations and meeting different peoples, that I started realizing, okay, but sometimes we need to express this other part as well, because instead we are always like only flowing to this way, that it's not that is wrong or anything, but we need to be open for all the parts of ourselves, So this is something new for me yet, but I'm learning how to express and like how to be open to like feel and flow with all my emotions, and like to put this in the table as well, not only like the good part of me, or like not that is good or bad, but like to just show up as I am. So yeah, somehow I connected in this way with what you told me.
Okay, well, that, having Mars there, often we had a ban towards expressing our individuality, even like being an individual. We had to be like everybody. And so our individuality was squashed. And parents could have been also, with Pluto in that house, wanting to not deal with excessive emotion, like all kinds of things like jealousy and possessiveness and, those kinds of primitive feelings that we all feel. And those were all, no, they were taboo. And so it was like put underneath, and all of that is bubbling underneath in everybody. And so you may have carried the scapegoat or carried some of that for everybody in the family at times.
Yeah.
And so deep feelings early in life that you could still be carrying with you. And just being willing to express emotionally charged issues is part of your learning about yourself and who you are, Wow. And so having all of that in the 12th house makes you very helpful as a counselor or listening to others when they have those kinds of feelings. They come to you because you're very willing to listen to somebody's feelings like that. And so going into the shadow will be fascinating for you, because all that Scorpio in the 12th house, eventually it'll lead you to wanting to do shadow work with others.
Makes sense a lot.
And because those energies are turned inward like that, right? So because they're, inside, and this is a serve or suffer kind of lifetime with 12th house energies. We want to be of service to other people. And that's a very strong part of your chart, just being a person of service to others. And you may have grown up somewhat lonely. You may have been alone a lot.
Yeah, I remember my parents used to work a lot, and I have some memories of feeling very lonely sometimes. So yeah, makes sense. And also what you said about being of service and being able, open to listen to others. It's very true for me as well, because my friends always it's part of my relationship with all of my friends, to always be the person they came to talk about. And I always somehow can understand them and give my perspective, and in some way help them to see in a different way or to deal with situations. And at the end, this always helped myself as well. So yeah, it's very, very connected to myself.
Well, one of the things going on right now is that Jupiter is conjunct your Saturn. And so right now you may feel very strongly willing to break free from any restrictions from your childhood and from restrictions of your environment. Anything overly hard that you've been putting up with, you're not going to be willing anymore.
Oh yeah, that is so true.
And you're ready to break free of any self-imposed restrictions that you realize, I've been doing this to myself, and I'm ready to break free of this and either move to another place, end a relationship, go on to another world, whatever. So it is very appropriate that you're leaving, that you're moving.
Great.
And as you can see right here, Saturn is going to come to your 4th house cusp. And so Saturn coming to the 4th house cusp is what we call our Saturn return time. And when Saturn returns to where it was when we were born is when we actually really grow up. We really start making decisions for ourselves, not to be what other people want us to be, but who we came here to be. And so it's a very maturing influence, and a recognition that I need to set limits on what I'm going to give and what I will not give. It's like you have been an overgiver at times and have to learn to set limits and have boundaries for yourself. And so when you move into this new situation, you start a whole new identity, in the sense that you're taking on the parts of you that you want to stay in balance. You want to stay in balance between giving and receiving, and you want to start asking for what you want and asking for your needs to be met as well, instead of just being, Florence Nightingale, taking care of everybody.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. It's an exciting
time. Oh my God, it's crazy how astrology like have the map for everything that is happening, because like of course unconsciously, but I have been working so much like on myself, on my shadow, and this is something kind of new in terms of like the way I see this. But this is like all related with what you were saying, and like I feel I'm so in this moment you are describing. I just want to like be myself and like being balanced and like put my energy through myself, and just go forward, and yeah, don't care about other people's like how they like see me, or how they like, if they are happy with my decisions or not. Of course, like I'm always
Accommodating.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's
definitely a time of balance. It's a time for you to really realize that a lot of the restrictions that you put on yourself were from your childhood. They were from your upbringing of, what will people think? And this is more important. And outer appearances are important, and the inner world is not important. All of those things are not who you are.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, but that goes with you, obviously that goes with you. We never get rid of anything, but we learn to include more. So when it's necessary, you have that with you, that foundation, but you also have the capacity to do the other as well. So you're not stuck on one way or another way. And that's
so excited.
That's where you're headed. So that's what I had for you today. If you have any questions for me.
No, yeah, I'm like, just want to say thank you so much for having me. It's like I've been into astrology for a long time, but like this was the year that I really I really went like very deep into, and like close also with my therapy, and like everything somehow was like leading me to getting to know about myself in a deeper way, start doing my shadow work and all of this. So like just the opportunity to be here with you, like all your wisdom and like the way you can put in words and explain what I'm feeling, it's just so like I feel so relieved to like have some information about what I'm dealing with, right? So yeah, I always look to my birth chart and look for answers and stuff, but it's different when there's someone with so much experience and knowledge that like can explain everything for you. So thank you so much for having me and for like spending this time sharing this information, this moment with me. I'm super grateful, and yeah.
You're very welcome. Well, astrology is so based on the fact that we're connected to the cosmos. I mean, it's not, the planets aren't doing anything to us. The planets are inside us. They are our archetypal foundation. This is a sacred language to me. It's a language of the soul. And our connection to God, or what we call God, or the self in Jungian terminology, or the divine, or whatever, Buddha nature, whatever we want to call that force that is part of us, that seeks to work through us, is right here in our chart all along the way. So it's like we were never alone. We were never alone. And what I love about it is that you can really see into your own soul and how you're connected to everything. It's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank you for being on here and for expressing yourself so beautifully. So
yeah, it's a pleasure for sure. And now
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, for me, it's new to know about this Scorpion energy that I have, because usually we always like look more for like the sun, the rising sign, the moon, and I always like had this identification with like Libra, Aries, and so on. But now that I know that I have so much Scorpio and like what this means in each of the houses, for sure it will like help me to understand myself even more and like keep going. So yeah, it was super somehow revealing for me as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll say goodbye, and we'll see you again.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Have a nice day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's see. Stop share.